so much gloom. That ain't the reality. It's just a beautiful day. Yeah, it's a beautiful day. It's just yeah, it's a beautiful day. Yeah, it's a beautiful day. It's just yeah. Take a look into the sky. Take a look into the sky. Look in the sky. Keep your head up high. High. Keep your head up high. Take a look into the sky.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Gulfstream today. Ron Nicoletti along with Pete Aiello. It is Friday afternoon. It's Twilight Friday. And Pete, once again, not going to be on the turf this afternoon, but we got that fast main track.
Off the grass here this afternoon. We did have a little bit of rain going into this morning, so we're just being conservative this time of year. We have a nice stakes race on the program tomorrow scheduled for the turf. The Coping Away as Archer Road looks to take his game to another level. He is very much the horse to beat in tomorrow's feature.
Yeah, 1 mile and 1/2. Those marathon races are a lot of fun. So that is tomorrow, but we got the fast main track today. And boy, we got a nice little menu we're going to show you now what we can offer you this afternoon. We're going to start it off the super high five today, over 14, about almost $15,000 in that pool. And that starts right in race number 1.
And the first race is off the turf, but it does not diminish the difficulty level of the race. It's a tough race. It's a good betting race. And with that bonus and the super high five, it's a race you want to get involved in.
Yeah, and then we got the early pick 5, which starts in race number 1. Pete's going to have a ticket in just a couple of moments, so we'll see how he did. Almost got it yesterday. You got knocked out in the first. I got knocked out in the Rainbow Six early on yesterday. Did not have it tuned in right. And now we have the Rainbows. Lost my train of thought there. The Rainbow Six, almost 500,000. Take it from there, will you please?
Yeah, a lot of money in the Rainbow Six, and there'll be a good opportunity to make some money in the late pick 5 as well as the Rainbow Six today. The late pick 5 begins in race number 6. We got 3 for 3 in that late pick 5 yesterday, including a $34 winner, and then subsequently knocked out in the final 2 races. So we'll see if we can't do a little better here this afternoon. 10 races in total with race number 1, the first of the day off the turf on the main track at 5 furlongs. Claimers of the veteran variety, as I like to say, and the start of the early pick 5. Early pick 5, I'll go 4 deep in here. I was 4 deep on the turf. I'm 4 deep on the dirt. Different 4, though. I'll use the 2 Diamond Mint, who is actually going to be my top play. I didn't really know where else to go. The 3 Sherpa has some dirt for him. The 4 Birdie's Bow Boys. This is a horse that very much intrigues me, and I'll be interested to see what kind of price we get on him. And then the 7 Lost for Words, who was the top play on the turf. He does have some dirt for him as well for trainer Henry Colazzo. Maybe he can shake free 4 deep to start it off. Second race, there'll be a variety of folks keying off number 1, Brown's Gap. I think there's enough speed in here to keep Brown's Gap honest, and I think that may set it up for Cheech Thunder. And Cheech Thunder is a horse, when he gets good, he tends to stay good. He was good last time out, 2 deep there. The solid single for me comes in the 3rd race. Number 6, Rainfall, has this to throw away. She just looks too fast and too well spotted. 4 deep in the 4th race. And number 2, Aristelis, the 3, Seba's Ranger, the 5, Coal Miner's Son. We're going to try to Downrange, who's been so good. He has to be able to race over the top, and Downrange is the likely odds-on favorite in the 4th. We'll try to beat him. 5th and final leg, tough race. We'll go 4, Cotton to You, 7, Whip Me Into Shape, and a bomb. Number 8, Mo Beautiful. She was good her first start. She's not been good since. We'll see if she can't wake up here today. It's a $48 play. $48 play with a couple of solid plays, though, and a couple of races for price horses. It's just a 50-cent play. That's the way I saw the early pick 5.
Yeah, I like your single in there. In the first race, I had to keep the 7 Lost for Words on top of my ticket, even though it was moved to the main track. He's faced some of the better turf sprinters on the grounds. Going to try the main track this afternoon. Responded well. Set a pressured pace last time out. Was beating the neck for the whole enchilada last time out. Henry Colazzo keeps the status quo. Yeah, I mean, the unknown is how this horse is going to handle the turf. I just thought it was a logical contender there. Really like this one on the turf today.
Yeah, I really liked him on the turf too. His race on the main track wasn't bad. It was last year, was a similar off the turf affair. He went 7/8 that day. He's better the shorter he goes. I think the problem he might have here is that Sherpa's going to move up with the surface switch to the main track, and Sherpa might be fast enough to keep him in the 2 path. These 2 may hook up early. I like the closer in the race, number 2, Diamond Mint. His resume on the dirt is pretty good. His resume on the turf is also pretty good. So he's a consistent racehorse. He's making his first start off freshening and making a new barn switch here today. Those are caveats, in my opinion. The barn does very well, although I would like a horse with a little more recency. This horse does, to me, appear to be well situated.
Yeah, it ran well on the main track before 11 starts, that win in 3 seconds. And I had the 4 on the ticket, too. Birdie's Bow Boy, after debuting locally, after drawing clear, defeated those 2 lifetime claimers up at Tampa, going 5 furlongs on the dirt.
He's going to get some extended airtime for me here because I'm going to make a case for him because I think he'll be a good price. If you look at his career statistics, throw the first race out. The rider who rode him the first race of his life was 0 for the meet at the time. Second race of his life, he made the rider switch and won. Throw the third race out as he was in against Over His Head. Then the fourth race of the career, that is a potential issue. Fifth race of the career on the turf, throw that race out. He ran excellent when making his only start at Gulfstream Park. He had to check down toward the inside under Richard Mitchell. And then last time out, he was much the best winner, as a big play for me, I might add, in that race at Tampa. He was much the best horse, and he proved it. He has a horse that has enough speed to stay close, but he doesn't need the lead, and he'll be making first runs on Sherpa and Lost for Words. Upset possibility. You heard it from me and Ronnie first. Birdie's Bow Boys under Chuck Lopez.
That was quite a story. I like that. He went right through his whole career there. Okay.
Well, you have to, because you have to, in the races like this, you have to kind of try to figure out. This horse is on figures. He's not fast enough to win this race, but he's had some alibis in some of his races, and he's really run pretty well.
Yeah, and I like this performance on the main. My reasoning was I just like this performance on the main track. I'm glad I know a little bit more now. Let's go to race number 2 of mine.
Oh, you're going to start with me early. All right. Well, we'll be busting out the sound effects yesterday. If you didn't join us yesterday, you have to go back and watch the replay on YouTube. I went back and watched it. I have never in my life heard a tennis reference with that sound effect.
I tried my best. Second race today, a mile into 16. Claim is 3 and up, $6,250. I went with Brown's Gap, and so did you on top. This one stretching out to its most accomplished distance on the main track. Thought it ran well in there, and I thought it was the logical one. To show you a stat on that horse, Safi Joseph Jr. Horse is going from turf to dirt. Claim is at Gulfstream. He's 22%, 57% in the money, $1.46 return of investment. But the horse that keeps haunting me, of course, is Cheech Thunder. Now, Cheech Thunder, I always bet him when he's not good, and when he's good, I don't jump on, and he was good last time out.
And he's a fun horse for me to call because every time he runs, I have the same procedure. No matter what happens, I take the binoculars down to try to figure out where he is instead of just, routinely going in far back. I actually look at this horse because I want to see how close he is. He was close last time out, and we're going to show you his race. Cheech Thunder is never in the screen at this point in the race, and when he was in the screen, you had to think that he had his mind on business. He sweeps up out wide. They went 46 seconds for the opening half mile. That was a 1-turn mile, though. He gets 2 turns here today. I don't think that hurts him in the slightest, and relative to the pace scenario, I think it helps him. Taken to church is one-dimensional speed. Brown's Gap is not one-dimensional, but he needs to be close, and there's also some speed in the corner of Captain Kidd and Spin Cycle. So Cheech Thunder will have something to chase, and he runs down a good one in Solve, who was expected to win that day, and Cheech Thunder rolls right by him inside the final 16th of a mile. Cheech Thunder, like you said, Ronnie, when he gets good, he tends to stay good. Like to see him run. He's a fun horse to watch, and I think he's a horse that can topple the favorite because he's going to have pace to chase here.
And that was the first race after the claim by Angel Quiros. Hector Berrios, I believe, was in the saddle, so I tried to make him one. Taking the church, I put on the ticket along with you just because of the speed, stepping up. He freshened. He defeated those 3 lifetime claimers at a mile, won it by a couple of lengths. But I think the race goes through Brown's Gap. Cheech Thunder, taking the church on my trifecta.
Well, for me, that's an interesting ideology because there's a lot of speed, and those are 2 of the speeds in Brown's Gap and taken to church. I'm going to give some airtime to number 7, El Ciclone. Does he win the race? Probably not. Can he light up your tries or supers? I think so. There is a lot of one-dimensional speed in here. Even a horse like Moonlight Bandit, he looks bad on form, but he's relevant because he is going to be part of the pace scenario in here. I think the number 7, El Ciclone, has some races on the back class of things that will be good enough to get a slice as he'll be rallying from far back. He's 30-1 on the morning line.
30-1?
30-1 on the morning line, El Ciclone. I don't think he'll be 30-1, but I think he gets a slice because they'll be falling in his lap late.
Well, I get the extra room, but I may add him to my Superfecta ticket in there. Let's go to race number 3 this afternoon. A mile claim of fillies and mares 3 and up, non-winners of 2 or 3-year-olds, 12-5. Here's your single rainfall illogical choice in there.
Well, you can make the case for, I can make the case for Ray Charles. Charles can make the case for her. You don't have to have 20/20 perfect vision to see that Rainfall is the horse to beat in this race. She's ran 4 races at Gulfstream Park. She's never been worse than second. She's never faced 4 foes like she'll face today. She's on a major class drop. Her form is good. When you're talking about horses that have decent form that are making a major class drop, that's the extra 1-2, if you will. I don't mind a horse plunging in class if they need it, but I also don't mind one that doesn't really need it. And Rainfall is in a cozy spot here for trainer Armando de la Cerda. Jaramillo takes over for Jeffrey Sanchez. What do you have to say negative about Rainfall?
Well, I have something positive to say because I'm going to give you a stat on this horse. Mr. De La Cerda, a 50% drop in claiming price. Roots on the dirt. He's 8 for 14. Oh, that's just 57%. He's in the money.
Look at that ROI.
86% of the time, and he's got a positive return of investment over 5 years of $5.17. I'm sure one of those 8 winners was like 40-1 or something like that.
I know, right? But that's still pretty good. 57% win rate with a $5 ROI. I know it's only a 14-horse sample size. And I can tell you this, if Rainfall wins, that percentage will go up, but the ROI is going down because Rainfall is going to be heavily favored. I just didn't see any chinks in the armor. She is my single in the early pick 5.
The other horse had some interest. You have on the bottom of your ticket, I have in second, is Luz Estrella. Proves she can defeat those non-winners of 2 lifetime runners when she shook off that early pressure to win at this level and distance. Tammy Levy, the barn's been going good. Roberto Alvarado returning on this 3-year-old. The reason this one can run against this condition, because it is a 3-year-old. So I just thought, off that performance, one of my favorite angles, somebody in a race that's already proven that a lot of horses couldn't do yet by winning that condition.
Let me tilt my chair and ask you a question. I'm going to be a lawyer now. I'm going to interrogate you. You like the number 5, Luz Estrella, in this race, who lost by double-digit lengths to Appealing Lalibela, who she'll face again today.
Right.
What makes you think that she will not lose to Appealing Lalibela, who you have nowhere on your ticket, and I have nowhere on our ticket? She's going to be a super
Just
bomb.
because of you have to factor in the barn, you have to factor in the recent race, you have to factor out who's going to face. Now, do I have the horse above Rainfall? Absolutely not. This is my exacta play. I think this horse is going to make it 2 in a row.
I think there's a sound effect that should go there somewhere, but
I got out of that one.
He's sharp so far, folks. We move now to the 4th of the day, the first leg of another pick 3. This race is at 1 mile over the main track, 12,500. The claiming level, a scratch of number 4, Little Shackelford. This is a good betting race. Ronnie and I settled on the same 4, slightly different order, though. And I think there's some, I think personally, I didn't see a standout in this race. So I think that there's going to be an interesting way the fans come up with who they like in this race. This will be a wide open event, betting-wise, I think.
Yeah, but down range, really a low price on the morning line. I don't remember what it was. Yeah, really low.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, moved to the Steve Town barn after the claim. Duly inside, finished a well-meant second at this level and distance. The new connections today to keep the status quo. They got MCL Jaramillo in the saddle. I like this horse, but not at the odds, you know, that he's the one to absolutely beat in there. And like you said, we have similar horses on the ticket. I went with Coal Miner's Son in second, and you went with the number 3 Seaba's Ranger, who's beat Rabels pretty good last time out.
As you can see, my logic was to beat downrange. I'm not going to be stubborn enough to leave him off the ticket. But here is my logic, if you want to know what it is. If you go back and watch his last 2 races, he ran unbelievable 2 starts ago, fought from the 3/16 all the way to the wire and got the win. Last time out, he did the exact same thing. He was hooked from the quarter pole to the wire, did not give up that fight, and was extra game kicking on the whole way. So that's back-to-back efforts that he gave 110%. Maybe it's just me, but if you give 110% back-to-back times, I can let you slide for not 100% the 3rd time. I think that if he doesn't give 100% here today, there are some horses that can beat him, and as you say, he'll be heavily favored.
He'll be heavily favored in there, and he, as you just said, if you had those together, he ran well in 220% of those 2 races, so 110% and 110, right? How about?
I don't even know how to right the ship at this point. Good thing we got a break coming up.
Well, let me tell you about Coal Miner's Son that you do have on your
You tell me about him. I picked him on top.
All right, well, you tell him about it. I like his record. He's the only 3-time winner in the field.
Thank you. Thank you very much. He is the only 3-time winner in the field. But here's the key part of it. Monty Thomas needed to get this horse to wake up. He was good as a 2-year-old here in South Florida. He won all of those 3 races as a 2-year-old. He came back trying to pick up where his 2-year-old form left off. That didn't work. They had to drop him in class. He ran well last time out. He's back on a bit of a class hike, but at least relative to some of the other horses, he only got beat 4 lengths in this race 2 starts ago. I like the fact that he woke up last time. I'm expecting similar progression today.
We'll be back with the Pete's show and the Rainbow Six right after these messages.
Whether you're at home or at the track, have a stake in the race when you bet with ExpressBet. Sign up for an ExpressBet online betting account and receive up to a $500 sign-up bonus.
Welcome to my playground.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today. Ron and Pete, ready for the the Rainbow Six, excuse me. What a day. $481,000 plus in the pool. I want to show you my ticket right now. $43.20, my favorite number. And I went 3 deep in here. Boy, after the scratch of Aurora Princess, I thought this was a wide open affair. And I went with the 3, the 4, and the number 7 in there. I like the 3 on top of the ticket, but I was afraid to leave the 4 cotton to you and whip me into shape off my ticket. And in the 6th race, boy, that one coming off the turf, I went with a horse in there, the 8, the 9, and the 13, Rocky's Buckaroo, and that is really guesswork. Debuted for $40,000 and now dropped down. Stopped abruptly last time out, but getting Lasix this afternoon. The 7th race, I just thought it was 2 horses in there, Introspective and Cup of Tea. And in the 8th race, a wide open affair, and I went with Andrew the Bull, Crimson Spade, and Steel Grit on my ticket. I just thought those 2, the 7 and the 9 and the 5, tough race. I went 3 deep in there. Race 9, Mr. Kisses, Red Crescent, looked like the logical 2. Really think the 13 coming off the also eligible main track only list, Rosetta's Gift, is the one to beat for Kathleen O'Connell in race number 10. $43.20. Hope I can get out of this first leg. Tough race.
Yeah, I think you'll get out of the first leg. My first red flag race comes in race number 7, not necessarily because of who you used, just because of the level of difficulty. I definitely think race 6 is only an 8, 9, 13 scenario. I use those 3 in my late pick 5 as well.
Yeah, so let's start it off here in race number 5. As I mentioned, I used the number 3, Galileo's Affair on top. Turning back today to 6.5 furlongs, Drew Clear defeated those pair of next out winners. So key race, you knew I was going there. That was a 16 condition claimer going a 1-turn mile. That was on that sloppy track that afternoon. I just thought off to the key race that Galileo's Affair was a major player in there. I'll always like those key races.
Interesting that Galileo's Affair actually regressed, at least on the buyer scale, from her race 2 starts ago to her win last time out. Not often a horse can regress and win anyway, especially at this level. Galileo's Affair will take some money today, and she does move up with the scratch of Aurora's Princess. But again, everybody moves up with the scratch of Aurora Princess. I didn't see much speed in here, Ronnie. I'll use the 7, Whip Me Into Shape. I don't want her on the lead. I want her in a flanking position behind number 6, Memorize, and number 2, Tayana, who I figured were the 2 speeds. Out wide and Trap Me Later might go as well. Cotton Tuya, we both used her. She's got to get a slice in here. We used her defensively in your Rainbow Six. She's only 1 for 24, but she, at least relative to her rivals today, she's going to make a big presence, I think.
I spoke to Mr. Bozzo, not me. Ed Gray did after the win last week, and he said this horse is going to win today, so you take it for a guy who's 97 years old, knows what he's doing. He's been around the racetrack almost as long as me. I'm only joking. Great guy. So Cotton Tuya on my ticket, but boy, your horse likes to finish in the money, but hasn't, as you mentioned, been in the winner's circle for a long time. But I put it on the ticket to save it.
Well, Aurora Princess figured to be odds-on in this race. She's out, so I think that the betting race will become much more diversified now that the 5 is not running in the race. Key contenders include the 7, the 4. I used the 8 Mo Beautiful on the bit of a stretch stretch out and the freshened up for Joe Orsino. She ran great in the debut, was not good at all in either one of those races. I need something like the first race for her to be a player, but I'll get a price. She's one with a shot here, I thought.
Yeah, Nick Warren is in the saddle, so that's how we see the first leg of the Rainbow Six. Now let's go to race number 6 this afternoon, and this is where the late pick 5 starts, and I want to show you my pick 5 ticket. No, I'm only kidding. It's Pete's turn.
Oh, is that a toss?
Yes, that's
live television, folks. I fumbled the toss there. The pitch was not smooth. Number 9, Resistance Jack, is my top play in the race. I agreed with you, Ronnie. 8, 9, 13. 7th race, I'm 3 deep. The 2, Go-Go Jack. The 3, Introspective, who I can't wait to tease you about. And the 7, Tri Delta Bay. First timer for Fernando Abreu. I might need more coverage there. We'll see if we can afford to add some. In the 8th race, a tough race, a very tough race coming off the turf. How about the 10, City Rock, for a bit of a bomb? I'll use the 1, White Smoke, off second start off the extended vacation, and the 5, Steel Grit, is fascinating relative to the competition. I don't know if Mr. Kisses is a trap. I feel like I might be getting sucked into something here, but if he runs his race he ran last time, he will win, and he also appears to me to be the controlling speed in here. I'll hang my hat there. 10th and final race, I'll use the 13, Rosetta's Gift, the 15, Mija Bella, and the 6, Country Strong. The 6 and 15 on big-time class drops. 13 back to her preferred footing. $40.50. The single is Mr. Kisses. I hope I'm right there.
I almost singled Mr. Kisses, but I just couldn't. I was afraid of the 3 closing on the speed in that particular race. So we'll see how that plays out in there. And as I mentioned in race number 6, we used these 3 horses. And the one that intrigued me with the move to the main track was the 8, Rockies Buckaroo, plummeting to the 12.5 level this afternoon. Gets the Lasix added after showing that early interest and just stopping in that race. That was his $40,000 debut. You would think maybe this horse bled in that race and they put in the Lasix in. I mean, that's a guess on my part. 12.5, maybe this is the spot. And I think the move to the main track really moves this horse up.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. As the guys are adjusting my plays, I had the 8 first to hand second. I wasn't that confident in his ability. I actually used the 9 on top here, Resistance Jack. I'm with you. 8, 9, 13. The 9, Resistance Jack. I like the fact that he ran against a big, bulky field last time out and didn't disgrace himself. He seems to be holding his form pretty well. And this is the kind of grinded-out style that wins races like this, especially with some key scratches and just going the 5/8. I think Rocky's Buckaroo is fast enough to be part of this. But I also think the 9, Resistance Jack, at least relative to the way he's been running, he'll be able to lay close enough where he'll be able to get first run on Rocky's Buckaroo. The Duke of Miami is the wild card in here. I would have figured he would have broke his maiden already. He's trying to make his 7th start a winning one. He'll be the likely favorite.
Yeah, he'll be a likely favorite. And in Resistant Jack, I like that horse too. Turning back, got that tactical speed, and I think that's important. Those 2 races at 6.5 and 6 furlongs. If you're not aware, of course, this race off the turf will be run at that 5 furlong distance. I just thought those were the logical 3, and Pete and I seem to agree, maybe not in the exact order, but we do agree.
How about 8, 9, 8, 9 with 3, 13 with 3, 13 super? That's a $4 play.
Yeah.
Maybe the race 6 way to go.
$2, I'm in.
All right, yeah, we'll go for that.
Go for that. Let's go to race number 7. Pete's been waiting for this race, I guess, to let me have it. 5.5 furlongs.
By the sounds of it, you don't remember, which makes it even better.
5.5 furlongs, maiden special weight, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward. I will start because I picked the 3 Introspective, who's going to wear blinkers this afternoon. First race in surrendering a 5.5 length lead when finishing second, beating the neck. That was going 6.5 furlongs. That was back on June 8th. I like the fact, I know this horse didn't win last time out, but I like the fact they put the blinkers on this horse, and I thought maybe that would help. Turn back to 5.5 furlongs. Also may be key.
Well, we're going to watch this race in a minute, but before we cue it up, or at least before we hit play, I want to set the stage because you liked Introspective the last time. She was your long shot play of the day. According to you, she was the reason why she was bet in half from her 10-1 morning line. She was 4-1 last time out. You were in the video room and you were rooting for Introspective, and you were told that you were home and cooled out. Let's take it from there as Introspective comes off the turn, roaring on a big lead. she opens up under jockey Tyler Gaffleone. Now, Ronnie is home and cooled with his long shot play of the day. Ronnie, you're still home and cooled, right? No. Danch with Macho is going to mow down Introspective, but the reason why that horse lost is 100% her own fault. If you watch the replay on Zoom, she had her ears up, she was kind of idling, she was looking around, where's everybody at? That's exactly why Chad Stewart adds the blinkers. She needs blinkers, but the talent is there.
I so certainly remember that day now. I was up in the broadcast room, and I was just screaming, boy, did I make a fool out of myself, and my buddy Brad was certainly let me have it the rest of the day, and rightly so. You never say you got it made in horse racing, and that's what I did that particular day. So I remember that, and the blinkers were the key for me.
I'm just glad you picked her on top again. That makes it extra sweet.
I used the 9cc's Cup of Tea in second. This one's going to depart from the outside after showing speed, duel for the lead, and before Weekly finished third in her debut. I want to show you a stat on Dave Brady this afternoon. Second career start, maiden special weight on the dirt. You know, just 3 for 18, 17%, 39% in the money. And the reason I looked it up, it really didn't seem like it was something he did all that often. So I looked up, and he's only had those 18 starts with the 3 wins.
Well, the horse that I used on top in this race is a horse from the barn of Gilberto Zerpa, debut runner for Zerpa. So it comes with a big asterisk, in my opinion. If this horse takes money, she's live and probably wins. If she's cold on the board, she probably doesn't run a jump. So that's the caveat with number 2, Go-Go Jack. She's 5-1 on the morning line. That's a neutral stance in my view. She's not going to be 5-1. She's either going to be one of the favorites or she'll be ice cold. If she's ice cold, I don't like her. If she takes money, I think she's got enough speed because Zerpa horses are well touted, both here in South Florida and across the country. When he's live, everybody knows it, and I think that the number 2 has a gate-to-wire threat if she's ready under Jaramillo.
Yeah, and that's always a horse, a type of horse that you want to add to your ticket if you have the ability to spread in those races, because that barn, you'd really have to pay attention to it. First-time starters, second-time starters, doesn't matter what it is. Now, race number 8 this afternoon. This one off the turf, 5 furlongs, claimers 3 and up, non-winners of 2 in the life. And boy, this one was a head scratching me. You went with the number 10 in here, and I could actually use some help because I went with the 7. I'll tell you why. Andrew LeBull, 7 starts on the fast main track, a win, a second, 3/3. You know, returns to action with the speed needed to this race. I think he could steal this race. I saw him as the speed in here. No? After all the scratches? That's the way I saw it. I just thought the race was chopped down with all the scratches and a lot of the speed taken out of it, so I went with Andrew the Bull. Apparently, you do not agree.
Well, you know what's interesting, though? It's funny, and this is actually great, and it's great especially when we're doing handicapping on live TV. We look at the race, we come up with the same theory that there's not much speed in here, and we decide there's 2 different horses that we think are going to make the lead. Because I agree, there's no speed, and all the speed got scratched out, but that means the 10 City Rock becomes the lone speed, not the 7, Andrew the Bull, who's cutting back from 7/8 and a mile. The 10, City Rock, ugly form. I get it. But if you would like to bear with me for a moment, this horse is race 3 back, a 3rd-place finish behind an expected winner in Travie Boy. Rider switch today from low-percentage Masonette to a guy who knows how to win on speed horses. He's only been doing it for 30 years in Chuck Lopez. City Rock will blast right to the top. We'll see if he can hang on from there, but the fact that you have ugly form lines surrounding a couple not bad races means the price will be right. This is the official Aiello long shot of the day. Speed, my weapon of choice here.
Let me write that down. Sounds like a little bit of a bet here. Andrew against the 10. How do you like that?
I think I got my back up against the wall, but just to show you what a good sport I am, you're on.
Okay. See who finishes in front of each other. I know. Usually when I do this, they finish last and next to last. But Andrew LeBull, that was my reasoning in there. Now I got to go back and look at the 10. CC Lopez certainly knows how to make him win on the lead. I also used the number 9 in here. Crimson Spade was game and defeat. He returned from a long, long layoff of over a year, 368 days. He finished second. That was 5 furlongs on the turf. I don't know what to expect with him on the main track. I was just impressed with that performance last time.
I was too, so much so that I used him right on top on the turf. I got scared. I don't know. His dirt lines are bad. I don't know. But is he a different horse now? That's always the counter argument when you're looking at a horse that hasn't been on the main track in a while. A lot of times the horses will be different racehorses. I personally think Crimson Spade's a different racehorse because he got on the turf, not because he's necessarily improved or matured. I think the turf is his preferred footing. I'll try to beat him, although he was my top top play on the main track.
Well, what about Steel Grit turning back to 5 furlongs, second at the distance up there at Tampa? Poor showing, going 6.5. Was that the slop last time out for this horse?
I think it might have been the slop. I also think it might have been the competition. His race at Tampa was a good one behind Birdie's Bow Boys, but it fell into his lap running on for second. I don't know. I mean, for me, he's a wild card, and he's making his third start of the form cycle. Don't see many Finger Lakes invaders here at Gulfstream Park, especially not in the summertime, but he had summered in New York, upstate New York last year, and his races were okay. I think he gets a slice here. He'll be overlooked in the wagering because he ran bad last time.
Yeah, he ran bad, but you know, you got to forgive him because of the off track, and it's just a wide open race. And as I mentioned at the top, I can use some help, and Pete tried to do that with the number 10. So we got a little bit of a wager there in race number 8.
If I don't clear, I'm done. I'm just telling you ahead of time. The 10 needs to cross and clear.
Well, you can. You got the jock to do it. You made a good point with that horse. Now, race number 9 this afternoon, 6.5 furlongs, allowance optional claimer, 3 and up, or the optional claiming tag of 16. I also got Mr. Kisses on top of my ticket, stretching out to 6.5, won at that distance in the past.
Well, I actually got a rare tweet to show that somebody, at least one person in the world, is listening to me and actually values my advice. So, Vinny on Twitter, I thank you very much for that tweet this morning. He wanted to know, because I don't necessarily denote it like you and Jason do in print, because I'm just doing it via the live program here, who my best bet of the day was. It's a tough card today, but if I had to hang my hat on one horse all day, it would be number 1, Mr. Kisses, because I'm not going to tout you on a 3 or 4 to 5 shot. Mr. Kisses will be okay. I think he'll be 5 to 2-ish. If he runs his last race, I expect him to win. If he runs either of his races 2 or 3 starts ago, I expect him to be nowhere. So that's the key part of it. I think he might be a trap. He ran so good last time out. Does he bounce here today? But the reason I went with him and the reason I keep coming back to him, there's no speed in here. Number 3, Red Crescent, is a very consistent racehorse who doesn't like to win. I want speed. I got the fence, and I got a guy in Luca Panici who doesn't send horses. So if he can get to the front, he's extra tough. Guys like that, if they make the lead, they're so good at rating them because they're not usually up there.
Yeah, he does an excellent job, and we always say that about certain jockeys. Julian Leparoux comes to mind, too. If he gets the lead, he's very, very dangerous. But Red Crescent, the reason I agree with you with everything you said about Mr. Kisses, but Red Crescent, the reason I put it on the ticket, had dead aim on Take Your Price, and Mr. Kisses recovered from a little bit of trouble at the start. He finished at 3rd, beaten less than a length last time out. My thought process was, if Mr. Kisses gets challenged, I wanted to have somebody that might close just to be on my ticket. But I'm in agreement with you, Mr. Kisses, as being on my top, and as I mentioned earlier on, a good single for you.
Well, here's the thing. If you're playing a show parlay, or if you're looking at tries or supers, or if you're on horsetourneys.com playing a survivor contest of some kind, I think the 3 is rock solid. I don't think he misses the board here. I just don't know if he can win. As he's been having some opportunities to win, he seems to loom boldly and then flatten out late.
And I got the 5 scam out to close out my try. Stepping up, stretching out, responded in that first start after the claim by Peter Walder. Got that big victory. That was against those condition claimers, going 6 furlongs. You don't know what to expect with that horse, but I did you have to use it on my ticket.
Scam, I respect you. You're a hard-knocking campaigner, but prove to me your last race was no fluke.
Well, let's go to our final race of the afternoon.
We have no sound effects. We only had 1 sound effect.
So you can't do that every day, you know, sound effects.
Well, but you have such a variety in your bag.
I have vast knowledge of sounds, you know.
Let's hear some.
Race number 10. 1 mile now. This one was taken off the turf, so now it becomes that one-turn affair on the main track. Maiden claimers, fillies, and mares. I just thought the 13 was the one to beat. Entered for the main track. She's a daughter of Two-Step Stoltz, stretching out to a mile on the dirt. She had those really pair of nice second-place finishes, sprinting on the main track. Didn't seem to like the turf that much. It's Kathleen O'Connell, the barn. You have to respect those 2 performances on the dirt. Makes it hard not to have this one on top of your ticket.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at resume and you're looking at a horse who's most likely the winner of this race, it's got to be the 13 Rosetta's Gift. I don't know if she wants to go this far. That's the key part of it. She's never been this far, but her running style indicates that more ground will not be an issue. Relu Gutierrez opted for the 13 over the 6. Usually I wouldn't worry about that, but I think the 6 is a big chance in here, so it's nice to see Ray lose confidence in the Kathleen O'Connell barn with the 13. I'll use her on top as well.
I also used the number 8 in here, Chastity, who's making her first start on the dirt since she rallied to finish second behind a repeat winner called Violent Nature. I like that horse. That was that 20 maiden race contested at 7.5 on the turf. It's Ralph Nix, Tyler Gaffleone in the saddle. I just was enamored with this horse's race on the turf, hoping it could translate it today to this fast main track that we're going to be dealing with.
Workout pattern's not bad for Chastity. She's never been on the main track relative to this race. I don't want to bet the horse to do something it's never done before. The 15, Mija Bella, appears to be somewhat of a morning glory. Her workouts are excellent, but her races in the afternoon have not lived up to that hype. She adds Lasix and makes a major class drop. She needs this class drop. I do think there might be some ability there based on the morning works. The talent's there. We just got to get the light to go on. Now's a perfect time for it with an outside draw.
Well, that's it. We've seen our 10 races, all right? Did a good job, I think.
Yeah, well, we'll always go on Twitter. I'll be on Twitter in about 15 seconds before the changes to make sure we didn't mess something up.
I don't think we did. Well, you never know with me. So good luck, everybody, this afternoon with your selections. Pete and I will be back tomorrow here, but Pete will be around all day calling the race. He does a fantastic job.
Changes in a moment.
A passion for horses and a commitment to breed champions is the foundation of Hardacre Farm. Founded by Amy Tarrant, owner, breeder, and trainer, Hardacre Farm, based in Ocala, continues its tradition of success from the Breeders' Cup to Gulfstream Park. Hardacre Farm, from the breeding shed to the racetrack, in pursuit of producing the best.